starts to the MHSA football season. It's a fall tradition, homecoming here from L'Anse Creuse North High School. Hello again, everybody. I'm Brad Fetters from Macomb Township Government Access, and I'm joined by my broadcast partner, Adam Abraham, as we do come to you from L'Anse Creuse North, home of the Crusaders, as they get set to take on the Eisenhower Eagles in boys varsity football. And Adam, as we take a look first at the home team, the L'Anse Creuse North Crusaders, it's been a little bit of an all-or-nothing season for them here through 5 weeks.
Yeah, and their losses, they've scored 6 points, given up 83, and their wins, they've scored 115, haven't given up a single point. And now that we've turned the calendar to October, we're starting to think playoffs. It's about time for this team to put together a playoff push. They got Eisenhower and Dakota bookending their last two MAC White games, so they have to get a win here, and there's no better time for it on homecoming, on your home turf. Defend what you got where you've played so well so far this season.
Yeah, realistically, they're going to have to split those games against the MAC Red competition to automatically qualify for the playoffs with those 6 victories. As for the Eisenhower Eagles, they're coming off a league game against Sterling Heights Stevenson that saw them turn the ball over 4 times, so obviously they're going to want to clean that up here tonight.
And that was a competitive game. That was a tied game at halftime. Going into the second half, a pick 6 helped them secure it at the end, and a touchdown late in that game put it home against the rival Stevenson. It was a good game for them, and they're hoping to build off that success.
It's cold and breezy, perfect night for football. A MAC Red White crossover on Macomb Township Government Access. Kickoff coming up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back to L'Anse Creuse North High School. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham. A good look there at the Crusader faithful in attendance here tonight. The student section on their homecoming. Students are into it. L'Anse Creuse North won the toss. They deferred, so Eisenhower will have the very first possession of the ball game. It's a short kick. Drops right at the 15-yard line. Picked up by number 20, Sefcovic. Driven down to the field turf here at LCN, just shy of the 20-yard line. Well, they'll actually spot it at the 21. So that's where the Eagles will put the ball in play. The very first possession of the ball game. Overcast skies, temperatures in the low 50s. Adam, it feels like football weather finally in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, when we finally get to October, you start to get all those homecoming games and temperature drops, and it just feels like football.
Eisenhower in those road white jerseys, LCN clad in all black with gold numerals. Blake Rostigue, the senior signal caller, going to throw on first down, finds a wide open receiver, Ethan Barker, on the outside, just short of the 30-yard line. So real easy pitch and catch there. Rostigue, the senior, returning starter for Eisenhower, one of the few returning starting quarterbacks in the MAC Red. And at times, Eisenhower will run a little bit of an option attack as well. Mario Gata back there wearing that big brace on his left hand. He had some fumbling issues last week. As Rostigue takes this one himself, all kinds of speed, all the way up to the 45-yard line.
Great read by Rostigue to get that ball to the outside, got that lead block, and just was able to turn the corner a little bit quicker than that middle linebacker in the middle for L'Anse Creuse North. Got some speed, some big guys in there.
That was one thing that Chris Smith, the head coach of Eisenhower, talked about, was he thought the LCN linebacking core was probably the strength of their defense. Ball spotted at the 46-yard line, 1st and 10. They send a man in motion, and they'll pitch to him. Bottled up in the backfield. Nice play there on Aiden Ives. Loss of 7 yards there on first down. We'll bring up a second down and 17 to go.
Great play by cornerback senior Jacob Levy, able to watch that play develop. He stuck with his man, was able to break off as soon as he saw that pitch coming and make a great tackle in the backfield, able to wrap him up.
Rescue surveys the field, 4 down linemen. Plenty of protection there as he dumps off a short pass to Guitar, back up right about to the original line of scrimmage. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 10.
Rastigue showing his maturity there, waited for that screen to develop just long enough. Those D linemen came up, got a couple downfield blocks, and it was a modest pickup on a second down, looking at 3rd and long now for Rastigue.
Big moment here for the LCN defense. They would love nothing more than to get off the field and turn things over to the offense. 3 wide receivers set. Aiden Ives in the slot. Rastigue drops back, pump fakes, finds a receiver. That's a long throw and it's incomplete. Was looking for Ethan Barker on the outside.
Anthony Thero in the backfield that time, the junior defensive lineman, able to get some pressure on Rastigue. Good pressure all around that time, L'Anse Creuse North. Didn't let Rastigue get comfortable, forced a throw, and there you see a missed opportunity and an incomplete.
Isaiah Fambro, the player deep for LCN, and there's some movement up front. This is probably going to go against LCN as they busted in to the neutral zone and took out an offensive lineman.
It's Dylan Doherty, the center for this Eisenhower team. Fell right on his back from a little shove.
So Rastigue now. Decision time for the Eisenhower offense. It appears they're going to go for this one now. 4th and we'll call it a 6 yards to gain. Line to gain is the LCN 44. Rastigue barks out the signals. Out of the shotgun set, takes the high snap, sets, delivers right on the money to Ethan Barker. So basically the same play they ran on 3rd down. Barker ran to the spot on the field that he needed in order to pick up the first down, and perfectly thrown ball by Rastigue equals a first down for the Eagles.
You see Rastigue and Barker, getting into an early rhythm. Those are some of the returners for this Eisenhower team. Quarterback, a couple wideouts in the mix. They're kind of figuring out what they're going to do still at the running back position. 2 years in a row, they sent 2 players to Grand Valley State to play Division II football. So that's been a rocket for their offense, and now this year they're trying to figure out what's going to be the mix on offense.
It's Guitar this time. Bottled up, nowhere to go. Got swallowed up by that good defensive line for LCN. Tyler Leroy, the senior D lineman, in on the stop. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. This will bring up a second down and 10. 8.5 minutes now remaining, first quarter of play.
This is the exact opposite of what happened to Eisenhower last week against Stevenson. Stevenson drained 10 minutes on an opening drive. They ended up turning the ball over on downs, but they controlled that ball early in the game. And here you see Eisenhower taking control, very methodical with their offense.
This is a designed option play. Guitar takes the pitch, gets it up to the 40, no more. So pick up of 3 yards.
Mario Guitar, the more athletic option at the running back for them. There you see he dodged a tackle jump step on Jacob Levy, the senior cornerback who made that great play just earlier in this drive, able to bounce outside and get a couple extra yards to set up a
3rd down and 7. And some movement up front again, and it's Tyler Leroy, and this is going to make that 3rd down play even more manageable now for the Eagles. And it's two encroachment penalties called against the defensive line of L'Anse Creuse North, and it's going to be an uphill battle here for the Crusaders, and you can't shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, and especially when you got that energy pumping. It is homecoming. The stands are absolutely packed here at L'Anse Creuse North. You got that energy. It's your last chance at homecoming as a senior, but you can't make those early mistakes.
Collins sealing in at the tight end position. Ethan Barker, the wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. There's that option pitch again. Guitar gets that seal block. He's to the outside, the 20, the 15, the 10. Cruises into the end zone for an Eagle touchdown.
Great setup by Eisenhower. Like you said, that seal block. Steven Nadolski on the outside. The wide receiver just pushed his cornerback 5 yards behind that play, was able to seal that corner. Guitar's got breakaway speed and able to punch that one to the end zone early for Eisenhower.
So this Eagle team had some difficulties with that pitch a week ago as Guitar saw one bounce off of him that resulted in a turnover, but it appears they have cleaned that up here tonight. As Wiki comes in to add on the extra point. Snap is good. The hold is set. The kick is up and through. And with 7:05 now remaining in the first quarter of play, the Eisenhower Eagles are up on the scoreboard. They lead at 7-0.
And early you see Eisenhower taking control, and they're doing it with the 5 big guys up front, their offensive line, taking control of that defensive line for that most part on that first drive, just wearing down the defense. And then you see a wide receiver pick up a huge block on the outside. Very good fundamental offense there from Eisenhower. And they showed you a little bit of everything. You saw that run-pass option. You saw a couple little 10 and outs, and you saw a couple runs. So they're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at you on that first drive. So
that was a really nice set of play calling by offensive coordinator Brad Morris. And you talk about the size up front for Eisenhower, and I really think that's the main difference between the MAC Red and the MAC White is just the lines, the defensive line and the offensive line. Obviously, the MAC Red schools have the advantage there. They just got bigger dudes up front.
Bigger guys, bigger pool to draw from, so naturally you're going to get better programs. Your Little League programs are going to be more intense. You're going to have more participation so they can start earlier and really develop, and that's, like you said, that's where you see the most development between the MAC Red, the MAC White, and as you keep going down, the blue, the gold, the silver.
Jeremiah Williams Stewart, one of the 2 Crusaders deep.
It seems like every school's got some athletes, some very good athletes, some speed, someone who can throw the ball, but it's that type of fundamental development that really pushes them through.
Here's Wiki's got it teed up. The breeze will be at the backs of LCN here on their opening possession of this football game. Wiki puts his right foot into it. And it will be Jeremiah Williams Stewart. Gets it out across the 20 and nothing more as he finally gets upended right there. Roman Reno in on the stop for Eisenhower.
We'll see what L'Anse Creuse North can come back. Pat Daly and company, see what kind of play calling he can get going. This is a situation where you want to respond immediately. It's homecoming. The adrenaline's pumping. You don't want momentum to swing the other way.
So it's going to be Kyle Turner in the backfield. They turn and hand off to Turner. Gets it up across the 25 to the 26-yard line. So a pickup of 4 yards. Justin Zamansky, the senior quarterback for LCN, and getting into the backfield in a hurry there were the Eagles. Ian West, one of the first Eisenhower players in. So a loss there. We'll bring up a 3rd down, 7 to go from the 25-yard line. Zamansky now in the pistol. Kyle Turner to his left. Szymanski looks out to his right, flings it out there, and they pick up the first down. Good throw right on the numbers. Reception was made by Xavion Smith, the senior wide receiver.
That was a dangerous play because Xavion Smith took that ball and did a little curl back, and he almost got wrapped up. He had the first down initially. That step back almost cost him, but able to punch through for the first down. And we see LCN coming out, not afraid to throw the ball despite the weather. Doesn't matter to them. They're going to run this air raid offense.
Turner takes it, cuts upfield, up to the 39-yard line. Good hard run out of Kyle Turner, the senior running back. So some seniors in the backfield, some seniors at the wide receiver position for LCM. They're going to get quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Turner takes it again on 2nd down and 3, works his way up to the 45-yard line. So back-to-back carries for Kyle Turner is good enough for a first down.
And here you see a little bit difference in philosophies. Anthony Kiner's gone now from L'Anse Creuse North, was the head coach for 7 years. He's the one that brought in this spread offense. Pat Daly is more of a ground and pound kind of guy, and you're seeing a little bit of mix of both, and they're going to ride Turner if they can in this cold weather. That's your advantage.
Szymanski going to fling one out to the flats. Turner catches it. There is a penalty flag on the play as Turner goes somersaulting out of bounds, and these types of screen plays usually are an offensive hold. Yeah, talking to head coach Pat Daly, he kind of indicated that he kept a lot of what the offense looked like last season. He didn't really want to reinvent the wheel, and he said we'll get there eventually in terms of running the offense that he wants to run, but you'll see a lot of leftover spread look that you saw last year and the years prior with Anthony Kiner at the head coaching position.
Yeah, and when you come in, Pat Daly was under Anthony Kiner for 4 years. You don't want to blow the whole thing up.
It's a long pass to the outside, hauled in by number 9, David Gatine. So that penalty was against the offense, was a hold, backed him up a little bit, but a good reception there.
Keep in mind, this is an Eisenhower team that their staple to their team is their defense. They've played very well. Coach Smith was very happy with how they played so far this season when we talked to him before the game. And they're second in the
MAC. A little miscommunication there on the snap. Szymanski wasn't quite ready for it, and good heads-up play by Turner to recover that fumble.
Yeah, good decision by Turner to just drop on the ball. A lot of times you'll see a running back or a quarterback try to pick that ball up and make a play out of a missed snap, and there Turner just fell on it and lives to see another down.
Edward Newer, the center. So those are tough plays when you're driving, and they're going to fling it to the outside. Oh, nearly had a one-handed grab. Jeremiah Williams-Stewart was the wide receiver on the outside that nearly brought that football down.
Yeah, and he had one arm on his cornerback, one arm on the ball. That ball touched hand, but he just wasn't able to secure that in. That's a tough play, especially at the high school level, to take that over the shoulder one-handed. You see it consistently done at the next level, but not so much here. The Crusaders not afraid to go for that deep ball.
And we'll just look back at that second down play that resulted in the botched snap, and it's a spiraling line drive kick. Fielded and brought up. Steven Nadolski puts on the Jets as the punter to beat, and he will. He's going to take it to the house. Punt return touchdown. Steven Nadolski.
How about Nadolski taking that line drive punt, splits two defenders. They were on top of him, and he's just able to get that quick first step, split them both, take it to the outside, and make his last man miss for the touchdown. What a return for Nadolski. And that is a brave play, but dangerous plays can pay off sometimes in the biggest ways, and that's what you see there.
An absolute nightmare start for LCN. Can't come up with a stop on defense, get the ball back. Driving, have a bad snap on second down. Can't get the conversion on third. You punt the ball away, and Eisenhower takes it to the house. Steven Nadolski Dangerous return man for Ike, as the extra point is good. And just like that, 3:22 now left to go in the first quarter of play. Eisenhower out in front, 14-0.
And Nadolski's that other back you will see in the Eisenhower offense at times, and you see it right there. He's got breakaway speed at the drop of a dime. What a play, but L'Anse Creuse North, just a couple mistakes really costing them. You know, that holding call probably brought them back. You're looking at a first down with a 3rd and 1 there. That brought them back. A couple offsides didn't help them on the defensive drive, and they missed a couple tackles on that, a little over pursuit on the special teams on the punt, and 2 missed tackles on that return as well.
When Nadolski at the LCN side of the 50-yard line, he found a second gear, and he only had the punter to beat, and he beat him with ease. And the Eisenhower Eagles looking to ruin homecoming here for LCN, out in front early, 14-0.
A lot of times you'll see energy go one or two ways. It can work positively or it can work negatively, and this might just be a case of where there's too much nerves. They're a little bit too worked up where they need to calm down and play their game, play their roles, make your tackles, get back to the fundamentals right now. Because now you're in a hole against a very dangerous Eisenhower team.
Head coach for LCN, Pat Daly, kind of indicated to us that this was really kind of a character game for his LCN team. He said, you know, you look across that sidelines and it's perennial power Eisenhower staring you right back, and you're really going to have to dig in deep here now, down 14-0. Will be just short of the goal line. It's going to be Jeremiah Williams Stewart looking for a crease. He finds one momentarily, gets it up across the 30. The ball comes out. And was he down, or is it Eisenhower football? Eisenhower recovered, but I believe the refs are going to say his forward momentum was stopped. And this is going to be a little bit of a break, I think, for LCN, because that football surely came out before he was tackled to the ground.
Yeah, definitely a break. The referees were on top of that, though, signaling immediately that was the case.
And LCN going to waste no time getting to the line. They don't have to worry about a replay review, but trips to Zemansky's left, and he's going to hand to Turner. Turner got belted down immediately. Luke Devereaux in on the tackle.
There you go. Nothing's changing that for L'Anse Creuse North. They're trying to keep that same tempo. There's no reason to slow down. You just got to stick with your game plan. No reason to abandon it yet.
Another high snap, that option play. Turner makes the first man miss. Can't make the second Eagle miss. Ian West with the tackle. Brings up 3rd and long once again, 3rd and 7. So this turns you into a passing team now, and that's exactly what the Eisenhower Eagles wanted to get LCN into a 3rd and long. 4 down lineman, 3 linebacker set. Man defense by the Eisenhower secondary. A little drag route across the middle of the field. Good catch by Petrucci. Petrucci up to the 48-yard line, moves the chains.
Big play there by L'Anse Creuse North. You know, tempo can kind of got a little caveat in it that if you're running a fast-paced offense, your defense might be a little stretched in that they don't get a whole lot of time to rest.
Hand to Turner. Gets it up to the 50-yard line, no more. Luke Devereaux, the first Eagle in once again. Devereaux, a difference maker on that defensive line. He's been involved in a couple stops already. 1:35 left to go, first quarter of play. LCN, second offensive possession.
Turner coming to the sideline for the first time on this offense.
Another high stamp. Zemansky gets it down, reversing field. Zemansky applies a little bit of a block. The Eagles had that play read well. David Gattin was your ball carrier. Steven Nadolski, one of the Eagles with the tackle.
And Nadolski's a top-notch safety there, deep for the Eagles, and he was great job there staying on his role. making sure he's doing what he needs to do and watch that ball come back. Didn't pursue the ball too hard.
David Gatine came immediately to the bench, and he's going to get some athletic training as it looks like a lower leg injury. Ooh, dangerous pass all the way to the far side of the field. Dawson split. Senior wide receiver went up to grab it. Pass was just a touch high, but Split able to bring it down. Really impressed so far out of Zemansky. I think he's delivered a really well-thrown ball.
Yeah, last season we saw Zemansky was the starter for this North offense and slung a little bit wild at times, but he's calmed down, matured a little bit, and his throws have been on point. Big fourth down here for the Crusaders.
Julian Guizdala, the lone receiver. Zemansky holds up his hands, barks out some last-second instructions, and will take a timeout. And it's going to be the Eisenhower Eagles on the defensive side of the ball. Nope, it's the end of the first quarter. That's exactly why Zemansky was holding his hands out, just set him out. We'll let the clock expire, and we'll go on to the second quarter of play. But all Eagles here in the first quarter of play. They lead it 14-0. We'll take a quick break on Macomb Township Government Access.
Hi, I'm Jordan Peele. I'm usually trying way too hard to be funny. Well, right now I'm going to be completely serious with you. Online bullying is a toxic side effect of modern technology. No one's immune to it. Not you, not me, nobody. But there's a way we can fix it. This emoji in the symbol section of your phone's emoji keyboard. Use it when you see bullying online to say, I see what you're doing, not cool, definitely not funny. And I know what funny is. I coined the phrase wordness to the turdness. So join me and become a witness. When you see bullying online, use this emoji to do something. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
Welcome back to L'Anse Creuse North. Brad Fetters and Adam Abraham, LCN on the move. Really important fourth down call here. 4th and 2, second quarter of play. Zemansky gets the snap down. It's Turner twisting and turning. Forward progression took him past the sticks, and that's exactly what the officials will signal there.
Different kind of play call there on the defensive side for the Eagles. They were lined up kind of deep, only 4 down linemen. They brought Nadolski in from the far side, but there were only 5 guys coming in. You're 4th and 1. You got to think that ball is coming up the gut.
That was Guizdala with the carry, and he's going to stay in offensively, so they're giving Kyle Turner a little bit of a break. Guizdala going to receive that pass, and he is upended. Big tackle by Nick Price. And Guizdala is down, and he is in significant amount of pain on that far side of the field.
It didn't even look like Guizdala knew that ball was coming. That ball was already delivered before he turned his shoulder to see the ball, and it looks like he may have gotten a helmet on the knee.
And it is a chilly night, so those tackles can really feel them. And talk about LCN already being a skill player down. David Gatine hasn't been able to return offensively for them. And now you have Julian Guizdala down, and with him injured with 11:30 remaining now in the second quarter of play, why don't we take a break here at Macomb Township Government Access.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Good look there as we come back. Julian Guizdala able to come off under his own power. Pat Daly, head coach out there, along with athletic trainer Cam Mills. Guizdala got upended hard. Low tackle took him out. So he'll come over and throws his helmet down in frustration. We'll go take a seat on the athletic training table. So 2nd down and long, 2nd down and 14. Zemansky fakes the throw, takes off, straight QB keeper. picks up a big chunk of yards there on second down.
How about Szymanski? That shoulder fake turned 90 degrees. Great fake, like he's going to come out with that screen. They've done it 3 or 4 times. It was the last play they ran like he's coming. Eisenhower bit, and it's just a seam right down the middle because they're playing out to the edges. Since Turner hasn't been out, they've kind of given up that middle.
There's Turner right there up to the 30-yard line, so they'll move the chains.
Good play calling so far by the L'Anse Creuse North Crusaders. Pete Niglio, the offensive coordinator, along with head coach Pat Daly. Good mix, good use of the tools you have on offense.
Sean Koski also involved in the offensive playing calling. The former quarterback here at L'Anse Creuse North. Dawson Split with the reception. Good name for wide receiver.
Back in the Sean Koski days, unfortunately you don't have a Tyler Conklin like the NFL out here anymore for the Crusaders.
Turner, nowhere to go that time. Alex Jelai, the Eagle tackler. 9:40 remaining, second quarter of play. Eisenhower out in front, 14-0. Spread look with the 4 wide receiver set. Anthony Petrucci all the way at the very top of your screen, takes a couple steps in. Get Dawson Split onto the line of scrimmage. He's in the slot. Szymanski looks Split's way. Decides against it, avoids the sack, turns upfield, changes direction, gets a nice block on the outside and picks up the first down.
That's junior offensive lineman Darius Love that picked up the great block. Was great pass protection, but the second he sent Szymanski on his back, he took off downfield. And
so Szymanski able to avoid the sack. His coverage downfield was really good. Szymanski turns, hands off. Turner, second effort there, avoided going down and picked up an extra yard or 2.
trying to keep that knee up, just kind of arming, crawling back to the line. And every extra yard or 2 matters. Turner realizes that.
So LCN now inside the Eagles' red zone. First trip into the red zone for LCN this evening. Szymanski flings one out. And maybe a little miscommunication between him and Nicholas Rosado, the tight end.
Quick pass off the play action fake. Rosado right over the middle. It didn't even look like Rosado was looking at him, but there was 4 Eagles right there. That's a dangerous play.
Brings up a 3rd down and 7. The line to gain is the 9-yard line. Trips to Szymanski's right. Southpaw goes to his left. Dangerous carry there by Jeremiah Williams-Stewart, holding that ball out in one hand.
You could tell, though, the effort right there. He wanted to hit that pylon. He knew where he was at. He knew how to get there. Good wrap up by Eisenhower.
So pass reception good enough for a first down.
Aiden Ives again. Ives has been on Williams-Stewart.
Ball marked at the Ike 5, and there's Turner, cuts inside, coasts into the end zone for the LCN touchdown.
A well-balanced, methodical, time-taking off-the-clock drive by L'Anse Creuse North. That's the way they needed to come back off that punt. You know, that punt's something, it's going to happen when a play breaks down like that, but that was a great answer on homecoming from the Crusaders, and they're still in this game. You haven't seen the demeanor or the game plan or anything change with this team. They're going to do what they need to do.
This really looks like an LCN team that is not intimidated by Eisenhower, and the extra point is good.
Maybe more importantly, they're starting to bring this crowd back to life. You're going to hear a few more cowbells. The band's getting a little bit more lively, doing a little bit more.
Big pickup on third down, the pass out to Jeremiah Williams-Stewart. Got him in business, got him within scoring zone, and turned to Kyle Turner, who was able to pound the rock in. And they cut that Ike lead in half. Eisenhower now out in front, 14-7. 7:41 left to go now in the first half of play.
Now it's time for the Crusaders defense to answer the bell. Your offense just gave you a nice sizable break on the sidelines, and you got to go out there and try to get this ball back as quickly and get that offense back out there. Keep that tempo, keep that pace of play. If you want to play at that pace, control the game.
Carter Tim has the ball teed up. Steven Nadolski, the very dangerous kick returner deep for Ike, and it's a little bit of a shorter kick. Fielded by one of the up-backs. It's number 30, who's not on our roster. So the Eagles will put the ball in play from the 31-yard line, leading 14-7. Truly only had one offensive drive this game. Blake Rostigue back to work. Nick Sefcovic, the tailback behind Rostigue. Rostigue looking to throw in and out of the hands there of number 88, Colin Sealing.
You can tell what kind of energy that touchdown brought back to even the team. They're bouncing around on defense. Great wrap up there. And 4 or 5 black hats going to celebrate one great play. That energy is going to make the difference in this game.
Have to be impressed thus far out of LCN and what they have brought to the table here on homecoming night, 2019 homecoming celebration. Stands are packed, both sides. As Eisenhower's brought a really good crowd as well, and look out, all kinds of speed. Nadolski, far side, he's going to go in untouched. An unbelievable run by Steven Nadolski. And you can just see the amount of speed on this Eisenhower offense, and there is a flag deep. Flag thrown around the 50-yard line, and this touchdown is going to come back. Offensive holding.
Talk about a break for the Crusaders. Nadolski, though, oh my, you mentioned a second gear. He's got something more than a second gear once he hits that second level. The part that's so impressive about Nadolski is his patience as he's coming up through the line of scrimmage and finds that seam and attacks. That's a next level kind of play, kind of eyesight to have that patience to dance through the line. And when you got breakaway speed like that, there's not many people that are going to catch you. There's a free safety that had to close about 3 yards on him, and he ran right past them.
So the holding occurred in the secondary. So it's a 10-yard spot foul. The result of the play is a first down, however, for the Eagles, where the ball will be spotted at the 41-yard line. Rostigue will keep it, picks his way up to about the 44-yard line. Cameron Davis made the tackle for LCN. Mario Guitar back in the game at the running back position.
Nadolski deep on that sideline, had to take his helmet off for a minute after busting out that 75-yard run.
Jack Whitworth, the wide receiver at the bottom of your screen. Rostigue looking to go up top. Heaves one deep downfield into double coverage, reaching out and coming up empty Was looking for Ethan Barker, incomplete. It'll bring up a 3rd down, 7 to go.
Yeah, Rostigue showing a little bit else. It's just not all footwork here. He's got a little bit of arm to sling that ball 60 yards downfield.
Pretty close, yeah.
Great coverage deep by the Crusaders, though, to tuck them in between high-low coverage. Tripped up just at the end.
So see if the LCN defense can get off the field. And they show a little bit of pressure this time, showing blitz. Rostigue, 3-step drop. Connects with Barker up to the 41-yard line, good enough for a 1st down.
Blake Stoudemire, the junior, in on coverage that time. Back deep off his man. He was about 6 yards behind that play. Definitely thinking about that arm Rostigue just shown, and it was able to pick him up a 1st down.
Good timing route that time between quarterback and Ethan Barker. Just a simple 3-step drop. Deliver the ball on time, on cue. And now LCN's going to want timeout. They're going to want to talk things over defensively and perhaps even give their defense a little bit of a break. 5:41 remaining, 1st half of play. Eagles out in front, 14-7, driving now inside LCN territory.
You definitely got to think the message from Pat Daly is earn it here. And you can see some of the seniors getting amped up. This could make or break the game right here. Is it a stopper or a score for the Crusaders defense? Got unlucky in the first couple minutes. If you want to win on homecoming, you got to come to play with the big boys in the MAC Red. This is the time to earn it right here. Knock it on the door of the red zone. Make a stop. Someone go out and make a play and get off the field.
LCN switching things around a little bit. Rostigue will hold on to this ball. Makes his way through the defensive line into the secondary, close to the 1st down markers, and I think they're going to give it to him. Yep, they're going to move the chains. Referee on the near side of the field said 1st down, and the head ref's going to spot it just short of the 1st down markers.
I think that's a good correction by our head referee.
So it'll be 2nd down and short. This is an LCN defensive unit that's given up about 28 points per game. And high snap, brings it down. Guitar just drives his way downfield inside the 25 to the 24.
How about the compliments of Nadolski and Guitar in the backfield? Guitar is a little bit bigger of a guy, a little bit more of a hammer, and you got the speed of Nadolski, and he can come at you one of two ways.
A little thunder and lightning in the backfield for the Eisenhower Eagles this season, and
definitely makes it difficult on the defensive play calling, depending on your personnel.
It's a big club Guitar's got on his left hand as well. It's all taped up. Looking to pass this time. Pump fakes, goes the opposite way, and it's the tight end right down the middle of the seam. Collision there at the goal line, but the touchdown catch was brought in by Colin Sealing. So the Ike offense clicking on all cylinders here tonight.
And that's kind of the forgotten about piece of this offense is Colin Sealing. Just found his straight seam right down the middle. Rostigue again delivered it on time, in pace with his wide receivers and his tight end. Snuck right behind the defense. It's like they forgot about him.
Drizwicki out to add the extra point. Low snap, the PAT though is good. And the Eagles cruising right now. They lead it 21-7.
And that's a tough break for the Crusaders. Eagles ran a few more minutes off the clock, but it's another very methodical drive by the Eagles, looking very good on offense. You know, it's gone one or two ways for L'Anse Creuse North this season. 115 points, 4-0 against in their three wins, but they've given up 83 in their 2 losses.
3 wins, all shutout victories. So they've given up 21 points here tonight. That's not usually a good sign for LCN, and this is an Eisenhower defense that Chris Smith said is really the strength of his team. But how about the offensive performance? Averaging just 22 points this season, have already matched that total here tonight through one half of play.
Yeah, and I think they're starting to find their identity on offense again. Graduated 2 senior running backs who went on to play Division II college football. You lose those kind of bodies consecutive years, you struggle a little bit, but Rostigue, one of the better quarterbacks in the MAC this season, and when you return a starting quarterback, you can kind of take this some time and figure out your personnel in the running back field, and they're doing it right now.
Rostigue really not even asked to do a lot at the quarterback position. Only threw the ball 10 times last week against Stevenson, completing 8 of those passes. But when called upon, he really delivers as that one sails over the goal line, so that will be an automatic touchback. So Isaiah Fambro not agreeing with that call, but that is the MHSA rule. As soon as the ball crosses the goal line, it's an automatic touchback, and it's a player safety issue.
Absolutely, and I think it's better off for that as you get the spot at the 20.
They haven't quite moved it up to the 25 yet, have we? Every other level of play, the touchback comes to the 25. So LCN back to work, trailing by 2 touchdowns now. Zemansky as a safety blanket, Kyle Turner in the backfield with him. 4 wide receiver spread attack. Zemansky, hand off to Turner. Turner plows his way forward for a couple. 4:18 remaining second quarter of play.
Long way to go for LCM, but with this quick tempo, it's definitely something they can accomplish here. You definitely want to put a few more points on the board before you go into halftime.
Both of these teams, high-tempo offenses, clicking here tonight, both offenses. Zemansky will fling one out. We have a procedural call. I don't think the wide receiver on the bottom of the formation was on the line of scrimmage. Anthony Petrucia there.
And again, you see another penalty, a simple mistake, and you get backed up 5 yards.
So you go from a 2nd and 10 to a second down and 8 to about a 2nd down and 13 now. Eisenhower dropping back in coverage. Turner, the running back, takes that throw. Gets it up to the 27-yard line. Good pickup there on 2nd down. We'll bring up a 3rd and short. We'll call it 3 to go. The line to gain is the 30-yard line. 3:20 left to go in the second quarter.
And again, creative play calling. Turner faked like he was going to the sideline on another screen and split right up the middle.
Zemansky locks in on his wide receiver, William Stewart, that time.
Same play call, different player. You saw Turner split up the middle, his cornerback bit, and that got William Stewart open just enough on the sideline to pull a 1st down.
It's really the creative nature of the spread offense. You have, a lot of the same set plays, but you can do a number of different things with them. And it's that same spread look with the 3 wide receivers to Zemansky's right, and he goes left this time, just out of the reach of William Stewart, who is streaking down the left side of the field.
And on the other side of the field, Xavion Smith was about on the 40 where that ball landed, and his nearest defender was at midfield. He beat him by about 10 steps, 10 yards. Definitely going to have to go to the air here with Zemansky with 2:51 to go here in the second.
Aiden Ives is the matchup there with Jeremiah Williams Stewart on the very bottom of your screen. Zemansky looks to go right, far side of the field, in and out of the hands. Flat out dropped that time by Dawson Split.
First time we've really seen the Eagles send 6 men at Zemansky, and got that ball out of there quickly, but Smith trying to turn and make a football move with the ball before he even had it in his hands, and that's what results in a drop.
Big third down play call here for LCN. Wanting to keep that offense on the field. St. Petruccia in motion. Zemansky scrambling for his life now. Too many white jerseys surround him. They finally bring him down. Alex Jelai, the Eagle, in on the stop. And LCN's going to have to punt this ball away for the second time tonight.
Some very good pressure by the Eagles' 4-down lineman. Got to Zemansky in a hurry. Now we'll see the punt team on for the Crusaders, hoping this goes a little bit better for them this time.
And Nadolski back there took a first quarter punt all the way to the house. He's at about the 40-yard line. We'll see if they even decide to kick to him or if they kind of position this one towards the out-of-bounds markers, and they will kick to him. Nadolski up to the 50 and finally brought down hard. Big tackle, and big number 52 makes the stop. Threw his hands up to say, no, it wasn't late. Tackled him in the field to play.
We'll see what the Eagles decided to go with here. You're up 2 scores. Minute 48 on the clock. No real reason to press the issue, but might take a shot or two to see what you can get.
You have all 3 timeouts as well, and the way this offense is designed, Rasticue really hasn't thrown many incomplete passes. He's going to hand off on the jet sweep. And LCN had that play bottled up momentarily as Nadolski's able to get it out across the 50, turned a negative play into a positive. And we'll bring up a 2nd down and 5. Play call comes in from that far side line awfully quick. Nadolski split off to Rostigu's right. Send another man in motion. Little play action fake, looking for the home run ball. It's thrown deep, making the correction, but knocked out of there. Terrific defensive play by Stoudemire in the secondary.
Jacob Levy also in on that stop. There you see a senior and a junior again on that blanket double coverage. LCN definitely cautious of that deep ball.
Stoudemire coming up lame as he's going to hobble over to the sideline. You wonder if that's like a hamstring there. And it's becoming a crowded sideline.
They're going to need a second medical bench over on the Crusaders sideline. That'll be the 3rd player. And
some pressure. Rostigue just kind of flips one out. Sefcovic able to make the reception. He's still on his feet and finally driven out of bounds. And we do have a penalty flag down as Rostigue kind of just flipped it. So David Gattin on the sideline already has an ice pack on his ankle. We saw Julian Guizdala go down with an injury.
And we got Stoudemire. He got to the sideline and immediately fell. So again, we have a flag on the 2nd level.
So penalty against the Eisenhower offense. Under a minute now remaining in the 2nd quarter. Rostigue takes the high snap, feels all kinds of pressure by the LCN defensive line, able to escape, fires one deep downfield, caught out there, oh my. What a play, Ethan Barker.
And that play was all Rostigue. LCN sending the house on a blitz. There was 3 chances. Grostigue dodged all 3 of them. Comes up on a 4th, thought about tucking it. Comes up throwing, and what a phenomenal catch on the back end.
Grostigue, a Houdini effort, avoiding the sack and able to find a wide open receiver downfield. It's Ethan Barker. No Crusaders anywhere near him as he finds the end zone and extends the Eagle lead.
And I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that Barker and Grostigue have been in sync, in cue all game long. They look good early on, and there it pays off. And how about an exclamation point from the Eisenhower Eagles going into halftime? Tacking on 14 extra points.
Grostigue's second touchdown pass of the night gives the Eagles that 3-touchdown lead. They now lead at 28-7, 41 seconds, all that's left here in the first half. And LCN will get the ball first to start the second half of play, but really that's a tough touchdown to have to swallow right before the halftime break.
Yeah, and that's something you were hoping your defense could get out of there at least. You know, at worst case, you hold them to a field goal. You're not thinking that big play, especially when they got him eaten up in the backfield. 15 yards deep, Grostigue was, and able to figure it out.
Eisenhower has scored on all 3 of their offensive possessions. They add in that punt return touchdown, and it's been easy here tonight for the Eagles. You knew it was going to be a tough game for LCN, and for the most part, they've been pressed, especially offensively, but they haven't been able to come up with that needed stop defensively.
Yeah, and they've been put in that situation where they have a chance to get off the field, get the ball back to your offense, or even just at that point get it into halftime. Now you're looking at a couple more scores, and the momentum swing has swung big time to Eisenhower. And you can hear the student section from Eisenhower from inside the press box.
Eisenhower coming into tonight off of back-to-back victories, both league victories at home against Romeo, 17-7, and obviously last week we talked about at the very top of the broadcast, the 29-15 win over rival Sterling Heights Stevenson. And obviously Eisenhower didn't play a perfect game that night, but they've been pretty close to perfect here tonight offensively.
Yeah, offensively they're clicking. Grostigue seems like he hasn't thrown an incomplete pass, and dual threat on with the 2 running backs, Guitar and Nadolski, and their special teams coming up big too on that punt return, getting some great blocks.
Szymanski to Turner. Turner out of the backfield, acting as a wide receiver there. And they're going to have to hurry here with only 2 timeouts. And they're going to take one right now with 29 seconds up on the big board. So it's a tough play. You throw one over the middle to Kyle Turner, and he's unable to get out of bounds. He gets tackled down, so they have to burn a timeout. They have to try to work the sidelines just a little bit better on these next couple downs. This is an LCN team has elected to play this half out. They are not just going to take a couple knees and head to halftime. They're looking to put up points here with 29 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, and head coach Pat Daly, you can tell by him, he's not a quitter. He's going to fight every last second. If you have 29 seconds to put points on the board, go for it. Yeah, you know, the other side of that is, do you really want to risk throwing out a bomb and it being picked off? Because you pretty well know what's coming if you're Eisenhower. But that's a risk you got to take, especially now down 3 scores.
LCN has taken their position on the field. Eisenhower breaks their huddle. Szymanski surveys the field. They look back at the head referee and allow them now to play on. Szymanski looks to his left. Fires one out to Jeremiah Williams. Stewart out across the 30, no more. Good enough for a first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily. And the chain operators enough time to move them. Once the ball's set, the clock will start.
throwing from the far hash mark. That was a long throw for Williams Stewart to haul in from Szymanski.
Gotta get the snap off, down to 12 seconds. Szymanski flushed out of the pocket. Looks this near side, stays in bounds at him, and that's gonna be a costly mistake. LCN gonna burn their final timeout. Nope, the clock will expire instead. There's about 5 seconds left. The near side official put his hands up to indicate a timeout, and I think they're gonna have to put 5 more seconds on this clock. It happened right in front of the LCN bench, and I would assume Coach Daly was screaming for a timeout. And they are gonna put time left back up on the clock.
Yeah, and that looks like it was the right call as that clock just kept running.
And it will, in fact, be 5 seconds. That was the last Crusader timeout. So, Adam, you're just looking to hit on a play here. You're looking for a deep pass, maybe even one of your trick plays that you have saved for a moment like this.
Yeah, 70 yards, excuse me, to go for the Crusaders. Eisenhower dropping looks like they're going to drop 3 deep men back to about midfield. You're just going to play prevent defense. Doesn't really matter what you give them. You're going to burn all the time off at the clock.
Throwing into the wind. Eisenhower does bring a little bit of pressure. Szymanski, no shot to even throw anything up, and he's going to get sacked. And that's how the first half of play will end. The Eisenhower Eagles have come in here on homecoming for LCN and have grasped the hold of a 28-7 lead. Adam, your thoughts on the first half of play?
Definitely some adjustments needed from the Crusaders on the sideline. They're not out of it by 3 scores, but Eisenhower, you're just going to keep trying to do what you're doing.
LCN will get the ball to start the second half of play. They trail 28-7. We'll take a break here at Macomb Township Government Access, but when we come back, the second half of play.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Macomb County, 27 cities, townships, and villages. From East Point to Memphis, Romeo to New Baltimore. 458 square miles of where you want to be. It's a place where your children can grow, and so can your business. Macomb County's tree-lined borders contain over 12,000 acres of parkland. Its outer edge, 31 miles of freshwater shoreline, both filled each year with countless concerts, festivals, and family reunions. It's the birthplace of advanced technologies that not only instruct future generations, but protect them. Hey, and those are just facts. You can get that from the internet or a book. No. To truly understand what Macomb County is all about, you need to experience it. You need to live here. You need to work here. When you do that, you'll know you're home.
Nearly set to go here, third quarter of play, 28-7. Eisenhower Eagles out in front. Well, L'Anse Creuse North Crusaders homecoming night here at LCN. And it was the big play capabilities of the Eisenhower offense that really has given them this 3-touchdown advantage.
Yeah, the wheels really fell off the wagon there for the Crusaders at the end of that end of that first half, the second quarter. A couple big play touchdowns that really shouldn't have been given up.
Line driving kick, muffed by Jeremiah Williams-Stewart, able to pick it up. Gets it up across the 30-yard line to the 33. So nice recovery there by the senior wide receiver. Yeah, Eisenhower taking home a punt. And they scored with 41 seconds remaining in the first half. Touchdown grab by Ethan Barker. So offensively, Eisenhower really controlled that first half. LCN unable to come up with any sort of stop defensively, and LCN back to work on the offensive side of the ball. And Kyle Turner, who I thought had a pretty good first half of play, was able to find some holes to run through. Does have the only LCN touchdown of the game, and he's going to have to come up and out of this game, as he's now going to be the 4th Crusader to leave here tonight with a significant injury.
Yeah, Grizdala, the backup running back, splits times with Turner back there at times. He is still on the sidelines, and looks like his shoulder pads are off, so he's done.
Szymanski throws that one into the dirt. Xavion Smith was the intended wide receiver. So it looks like Isaiah Fambro, the junior wide receiver, is going to get some time now at the running back position. We'll see if LCN goes strictly through the air here.
They're going to have to score a lot of points in a hurry.
Officials timeout. Fix Fambro's helmet. That's what the official timeout was for. Fambro had to get in there so quickly after the injury, he forgot to snap up his helmet. Szymanski out of the shotgun. Looks to the very top of the formation, nothing there. He tucks it in and runs for it, and depending on the spot, he's got a first down, and he does, in fact, have the first down.
The senior quarterback's really going to need to show some leadership, in the second half. There you see him tucking, running, and taking a big hit at the line of scrimmage, but he got the first down, leading the way for his Crusaders.
Fambro takes the handoff, and nowhere to operate. Ian West, the Eagle tackler.
Might be a situation as Turner jogs back in.
That's good to see there. Fambro will come out. Xavion Smith in the slot. Jeremiah Williams-Stewart at the bottom of the formation. Szymanski looking for Xavion Smith. He breaks a tackle. Nice reception by the senior wide receiver.
You know, Szymanski's been on so far this game. He was in the first half, and he's looking good here in the second half. Ride your senior quarterback. It's homecoming. It's your last chance at this, and you're playing a big dog in the Eisenhower Eagles. Ride that quarterback. Stick it through the air.
They go to Turner this time, up close to the 30-yard line. And LCN has driven the football between the 20s. It's just capping off and finishing off drives that they've had difficulties. And they've had some self-inflicted wounds as well.
Their offense is certainly capable of tying this ball game or taking a lead, but it's their defense that they're going to rely on.
Yeah, they're going to have to come up with a stop somehow. And they're looking deep. Got a receiver out there. Big hit. Jeremiah Williams-Stewart able to keep that one in.
And it's Williams-Stewart who pops right up, and it's going to be
Jack Whitwer that's down, and he's the Eagle that applied the tackle. And
that was a big-time hit, but apparently the hit came from Williams-Stewart holding onto that ball. What a play by the Crusaders. Knocking on the door very quickly. That's what, if you're Coach Daly, that's what you needed. Coming out of halftime, show them that you're still here. You're going to compete. Quick score. Get your defense out there. Let them make their adjustments and get the answer.
Jack Whitwer getting attended to. Phil Crum, the athletic trainer for Eisenhower. Able to get him up and onto his feet. That's a good sign, and it looks like it's just a stinger. So that was a dangerous looking play as he kind of came in and collided with William Stewart. You always got to worry about head injuries, and
it looked like a clean shoulder-on-shoulder hit, but we heard the impact up in the press box. That's a hard hit.
William Stewart somehow able to hold on to that football. So LCN now knocking on the door. First possession of the second half of play. This would be a huge drive for them right out of the gates. And it's going to be Turner. Met at the 5-yard line. He put the ball on the turf. He fumbled the football, and every indication looks like Eagle ball. And
referee's still digging out on the pile.
Boy, is that going to be
huge.
That'd be a heartbreaker for LCN, and nobody's celebrating yet.
Looks like it's going to stay with LCN.
Wow.
And
that's
the Eagles,
a huge play there.
The Eagles came out defensively, 3, 4, 5 guys jumping right away, going the other way, celebrating initially. That's why you dog up on the pile and see who's the strongest guy at the bottom. You can take him away at this level. You can't review it.
Pat Daly talked to us about answering the bell, and he was indicating the first half bell, but they have really come out and answered it here in the second half. This is such an important part of this football game.
Moments ago, you mentioned capping it off. They have to finish here, finish the job.
Third down, goal to go. The scrimmage from the 2-yard line. It'll be Kyle Turner, the lone setback. And he's actually going to split off. So they're going true spread formation now.
William Stewart wanted the ball. He was wide open.
And Zamansky's going to hold on to it and take it in on the QB keeper.
Great play by Szymanski. Maybe a little distracting there. William Stewart was on this near sideline, unguarded, jumping up and down, trying to get his quarterback to snap the ball and sling it out there. You know, and all the heads turned from Eisenhower. Szymanski snaps the ball and by design runs it up the gut, and LCN clawing back in this game. Great answer out of halftime.
Carter Tim will look to add the extra point. Snap is good. The kick is up and through the uprights. It's Justin Zamansky on the QB draw play. It caps off that 80-yard touchdown drive. And it cuts the deficit down to 28-14.
Crusaders still hanging on in this game, but mentioned it before that this is the important part now coming back on defense. They've shown they can put up points.
It's really a big game for LCN head coach Pat Daly. Eisenhower is his alma mater. He played football at Eisenhower and has a godson on the Eisenhower squad as well. You mentioned Coach Daly was a member of the previous staff here for the last 4 years, so he's familiar with the LCN team. He's a teacher in the Warren Consolidated School District. Kick is on its way. There is a whistle. And
we got a flag.
Procedure penalty against LCN there on the kickoff.
There you see another mistake made by the Crusaders. Going to back them up, and with the dangerous deep returns.
You're a little surprised that they continue to kick it deep.
Yeah.
That's
with
Kovic
Nadolski.
And Nadolski back.
He's already hurt you once, and he's shown he's the fastest guy on the field by far.
So Back this one up to the 35.
And now we certainly be able to get a decent return and a setup off the 5-yard penalty.
Nadolski and Sefcovic, the two Eagles deep. Tim will kick it deep. Sefcovic, far side of the field, look out! And finally tripped up, shoestring tackle just short of the 40-yard line. Man, those two return guys for the Eagles, so speedy.
Yeah, Sefcovic showing he's got some speed himself. They got to kick it either way to Nadolski or Sefcovic. It's not a whole lot of fun to be on that special team sides right now for the Crusaders.
So after the big kickoff return, the Eagles now in positive territory, already into the LCN end. Call it the LCN 42. Blake Rastigue, 2 touchdown passes already, sends a man in motion, gives on the jet sweep, putting on the speed burst. Finally tackled just short of the 30-yard line. It's Ethan Barker. Barker has one of the touchdown receptions in this game. Eagles have scored on all facets of the offensive side, running, passing, and special teams.
This might be one of the most impressive offensive games in terms of tempo and completeness for the Eagles.
Gataw picks a spot, weaves his way through that defense, puts a little spin move on, and gets it all the way out to the 20-yard line.
A good move by Guitar to wait on him. A little step off and a spin move bought him a couple extra yards, and another first down for the Eagles.
Yeah, Eagles really have made it look easy here tonight. Scored 44 points against Cousino. That was their highest offensive output. Were shut out against Brother Rice. The very first game of the season at Wayne State University. They lost that game 7-0. So that kind of drives their offensive stats down just a little. Gataw, nowhere to go that time. Nice job of the defensive line for LCN. Nicholas Rosado, tackler for the Crusaders.
Really the first time you've seen them get pressure off a 4 or 5 man coming in on the quarterback. It's been something that offensive line, again, we talked to it. Eisenhower's got some big boys up front, some veteran guys, and they're playing very well.
It's been a good football game thus far. Nice matchup here between red and white schools within the Macomb Area Conference. Rastigue out of that shotgun, looks to his right, feels the pressure, able to escape. He did this back in the first half and ended up throwing a touchdown, but nowhere to go this time as he is driven down to the field turf. Tyler Leroy in on the tackle.
The most impressive part about that one is as soon as he escaped that first tackle, he's coming over, floating on the near sideline. He's directing traffic on the deep end for his wide receivers, trying to get him open. That's so impressive to have that whereabouts to not, you know where the opponents are, you can feel that pressure, but that awareness to be able to have that vision downfield, short-sighted and long-sighted is very, very impressive from the young man.
Saw a little bit out of Patrick Mahomes last week against the Lions, didn't we? Some of that direction signaling. Plenty of time this time. Rastigue flushed out finally. Pump fakes, looks downfield, had a receiver open momentarily and just overthrew him. Nadolski was the intended receiver there for Eisenhower.
Thomas Monty on defense that time for the Crusaders, just got beat on the cut at that back end of the end zone. Again, you saw Rastigue directing traffic.
So it'll be Drzwicki to come on to kick this field goal. It'll be a 37-yarder.
Certainly not a chip shot for anyone at the high school level.
From the right hash. Not much of a breeze left here tonight, but what is left of it is blowing at his back, so it'll help him just a little bit. We got a flinch on the offensive line. No call. Now finally the flags come out as Drzwicki knocks it through, but this one will not count Eagles clearly flinched up front, so they'll back this one up, and now it'll be a 42-yard field goal attempt. And based on that field goal there, he's got plenty of leg to
I was
going to
say that football looked like it sailed to that near side pylon about, would you say that's 10 yards away from the sticks?
Well, I think it made it all the way to the sand they're used for the track and field events, so yeah. Plenty long. The hold to Timothy Burgess.
We got another whistle.
Need a football, I think. Nope. Have one of those. So ball's on the 25 now, so this will be a 42-yard field goal. And bringing the pressure. Kick is up. The kick is good. And that was good from a lot longer than 42. I mean, you're talking about a NFL level kick there.
And it was Connor Misovic, the senior linebacker, coming through about a 1/10 of a second from getting his big left paw on that as he split the left tackle in the center. But phenomenal kick by Eisenhower to separate it by 3 scores. That's a big-time kick. Despite ending up short on the touchdown, you're Coach Smith, you're just fine with that, opening up to 3 scores.
What a nice little weapon to have in your back pocket. A high school kicker that can drill a 42-yarder.
Yeah, I think that kick's good from 50 if he puts his boot on that one again.
At least.
Again, that sailed past through the end zone, over the fence in the back into the sand. The fence that's there to catch
field goals.
Yeah.
Spread back up to 17 points, 31-14, 5:41 remaining third quarter. Really, for the first time tonight, the LCN defense came up with some sort of stop. They held the Eagles to just 3. That one will sail over the goal line once again for an automatic touchback, and Jeremiah Williams-Stewart now not so sure about that call, and he just tried to hand it to an Eagle.
I think that's the correct call because, as you mentioned, once that ball breaks the plane, it's not about where he's at, it's about where the ball's at. He's going to have a Crusaders will look to answer quickly. Time's starting to slip away. We're about halfway through the second, but you're starting to run out of time.
Mansky quickly out to Williams-Stewart. Looks upfield. Is able to get his way all the way up to the 28-yard line. So good pickup of 8 yards there on first down. So this really opens up your playbook now on second down and short.
Eisenhower moves to 3 down linemen and a couple linebackers playing zone over the middle. They're playing a little bit more prevent, expecting this pass.
LCN will keep it on the ground.
Got a flag in the backfield.
Kyle Turner and boy. LCN makes the right call there on second down and short, picks up the first down, and are now going to get called for a holding penalty and return an instant first down now into a second down and long. I would assume the hold happened right at the line of scrimmage, so this will back them up 10 yards, and these are just drive killers, Adam.
Absolutely, and it's a couple big-time penalties on both sides. Eisenhower, that big one, it ended up resulting in a touchdown, but it brought back that big Nadolski. But Crusaders, every time, those penalties hurt, and they add up.
Second down and 11 from the 19-yard line. Line of gain still is the 30. Szymanski takes the shotgun snap, has to dance in the backfield, and he's going to get driven down and sacked at the 15. A loss of 4 on the quarterback sack.
Coverage sack that time for the Eagles as they're dropping 2 safeties deep about 15, 17 yards off scrimmage. They're not going to get beat on the deep ball here. They know what the Crusaders have to do to bounce back. Coach Smith playing this perfectly on his defensive side of the ball. 3 down linemen now. And they did bring that 1 linebacker on the last one. But certainly if your 3 guys up front can get even a little bit of pressure, drop 8 back in coverage all day, you know where the ball's coming.
4 wide receivers set. Eagles drop even more back in coverage, and Szymanski's going to get hauled down once again. Back-to-back QB sacks. And this one's going to be number 54, Michael Gardini.
How about Gardini? Literally just ran through the right tackle on the Crusaders' offensive line. Did a little swing move, split him, and ran right at Szymanski, and on his blind side, no chance.
So we're going to more than likely look back at this series of downs, and it's where everything eventually went wrong for LCN is they moved the chains, had the first down, and play gets called back due to a hold, and LCN now will be forced to punt. Get the kick away, a little bit of contact, no call. Nadolski, the dangerous returner, all the way up to the 10-yard line, finally driven out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
Again, you see, it's almost like a basketball hesitation with that Euro step. You come to the net. He's doing the same thing on this football field. It's unreal. The way he's able to navigate these defenders. He's got 3 black hats on top of him, and he's pushing through to move the ball. And how about that, starting first and goal for the Eagles? Really looking to put the last nail in the coffin on this game.
Really just kind of glides through those lanes, and you fielded that ball around the 40-yard line and was able to get it all the way down to the LCN 8. So just like that, the Eagles once again knocking on the door, up 17 points.
Eagles really being the fun police this season. 2 straight homecomings they're looking to defeat the opponent. Last week at Stevenson, that was theirs.
Reaching out for the goal line. He's going to be just short. Mario Gata. Yeah, Stevenson still winless within MAC Red play. That was Eisenhower's victim last week. The MAC Red kind of playing out how we thought it would. Chippewa Valley out in front with that 3-0 record. And whistles late, right before the snap of the football.
I'm not mistaken, you picked Dakota.
Yeah, sure did.
At the beginning of the season.
We talked about last week's game. It might be the pseudo championship, and Chippewa Valley at home took that one 27-21, defeating the Cougars. So Dakota, this Eisenhower team, and Romeo all at 2-1, looking up at Chippewa Valley.
Romeo's at Dakota tonight. Excuse me, that's next week.
Next week, yep. Crossovers this week, Adam.
Well,
and Gata gonna go in. 6 easy yards on the touchdown scamper.
That's tough for your defense when your special teams puts the ball first and goal. Gata. The Eagles look like an absolute well-oiled machine on offense right now. When we talk about playing for second place in the red division, that might be it.
Extra point. It's good. So Eagles now in front 38-14. Yeah, looking ahead to next week, you got Chippewa Valley at Stevenson, Romeo at Dakota, And this Eisenhower team will play at home as they will take on the Tars of Anchor Bay. Back to league games. L'Anse Creuse North will be at Grosse Pointe South, who, no surprise there, is the cream of the crop in the MAC White. Grosse Pointe South, they just seemingly win the White every single year, and we talked about maybe the matchup that would give them fits was Warren Mott, and Grosse Pointe went out and just smoked Mott. So more than likely Grosse Pointe South will finish undefeated in MAC White play and another league title for the group in Grosse Pointe.
You know, and once we turn the calendar to October, we mentioned it before the game, you start thinking about playoffs, and we talked about having to split this match. You have to split your MAC Red crossover. That's tough luck of playing in the white, is you're going to play up in the red for those crossover games. You either had to beat Dakota or Eisenhower, pick your poison there, and now you have to go where you're playing Dakota at home. Week 9, that'll be a grinded out game on the 25th.
Yeah, if you're an LCN fan, you gotta kind of just hope that you might be able to squeak in with 5 wins. And this time the kick is just short of the goal line, so return made there by LCN. And if you drop the contest here tonight, you'll fall to 3-3, and Grosse Pointe South, Utica, and Macomb, Dakota. You'd have to win out in order to automatically qualify, and you hope you pick up 2 and maybe get lucky in terms of the numbers and get in with those 5 wins. And this is the last year of this playoff format. Next year we go to that strength of schedule format, and more than likely LCN would get in with 5 wins based on the strength of their schedule, playing those 2 really tough MAC Red teams. Zemansky for the 3rd straight play. Ooh, he got out of that tackle. I thought more than likely he'd get sacked for the 3rd straight play, but somehow turned a negative into a positive and got it all the way up to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, Szymanski with a little stiff arm in the back. Toughened that one out for a modest game.
So the defending state champions, Chippewa Valley, as there's Turner, makes a man miss. Look out! He's running angry. Up to the 20. The 15, and finally pushed out of bounds. Beautiful run by Kyle Turner.
There he shows he's got a second gear. Patient through the line, got outside of his tackle and able to turn that very quickly upfield with a nice little jump cut. Great move there by Turner.
Brendan Werner eventually pushing him out of bounds. Huge run by Kyle Turner.
LCN not calling it quits yet.
Going to feed Turner once again, spins out of a tackle, and finally going to be brought down. Werner once again making the stop. A little surprised that they'd go right back to Turner after the long run. And he's had to be a workhorse here tonight with all the injuries to this LCN offensive unit. Turner staying in there. In the pistol now. Justin Zemansky, he's going to turn, fakes the handoff, and gets a receiver out there, Jeremiah Williams-Stewart. Terrific form tackle, Werner once again. So the 3rd straight tackle by number 32, Brendan Werner.
And that was good by Szymanski, feeling the heat that time, got that ball out of there in a hurry. Williams-Stewart's been his go-to receiver today.
So 3rd and goal on the 5-yard line. Szymanski. And we're going to get a timeout called by Eisenhower with 39 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. So we talked about the MAC Red standings. Chippewa Valley up on top. They play Warren Mott in their crossover game here tonight, and will finish their 2 league games against Sterling Heights, Stevenson, and Romeo. So more than likely the only team that could potentially play spoiler would be the Romeo Bulldogs.
Yeah, and that's a team, again, MAC Red status quo, where these big dogs just beat up on each other every year. It's been Chippewa Valley this year and last year coming up on top, but it's always been Romeo, Dakota, Eisenhower, Chippewa Valley in the mix, and you really never know what's going to happen.
And kind of that big 4, little 2. It doesn't really seem to matter who they put into the MAC red. And it was LCN a couple seasons ago. They've had to take their lumps. Last couple, it's been Anchor Bay, and just a huge hit there on Turner. Nowhere for him to go. Jelai and Aiden Eves. So 4th down. LCN will go for it here. And we'll see if they elect to snap the football with only 10 seconds remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Zemansky will, in fact, do that. Eisenhower bringing all kinds of pressure, and LCN might have had the right play call there, and Zemansky looks up at the sky. He knows it. Kyle Turner was out there on the little screen play, and with Eisenhower bringing all that pressure, he thought they might have dialed up the perfect play. And Zemansky unable to connect with his running back, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter of play. Eisenhower pedal down. They now lead it after 3 quarters of play, 38-14. 4th quarter play coming up next right here in Macomb Township Government Access.
It's another fall Friday night, and your kids should be
playing high school football.
It's a fun game, and it's safer than ever.
It's safe because the rules, the coaching, and the equipment are better than ever before.
As a result, serious injuries are at an all-time low. Seriously.
And builds
strong schools, lifetime memories, and tomorrow's community leaders. And it's mother approved.
It's a great game, and we want to teach it to your kids.
Fourth quarter of play, Eisenhower Eagles with the football after the turnover on downs. 12 minutes up on the big board here at LCN. Homecoming crowd sticking around here tonight, and what has turned out to be a bit of a chilly evening, early fall night.
Couple scores starting to come in for you. Romeo's on top of Grosse Pointe North, 48-0. That's a running clock in that game, and Chippewa Valley's up over Mott, 24-7.
Yeah, so Mott playing Chippewa Valley pretty close. That's a Warren Mott squad that made the move up to the MAC Red under head coach Tom Milanoff, who's been there forever, and kind of made some noise. They beat a good Dakota team when they made the move up to the Red. They've kind of really solidified themselves in the MAC White. I think that's really a proper fit for Warren Mott. You'd really like to see Sterling Heights Stevenson make some noise in the MAC Red. Made it all the way to the Ford Field in a state title game back in the 08 season, if I'm not mistaken, 08-09.
It's the year they lost to Detroit Catholic Central in 2009.
08, right?
2009.
09? Nice form tackle, stood up and sent down Connor Miskovich. Rick By, the legendary head coach there, took them to that state title game. Now led by Justin Newcomb. Really good baseball player Justin was. Comes over from Warren Cousino to lead the Sterling Heights team. Entire Eagle offense looking over at that far sideline for the play call. 2nd down and long. Rastigue just keeps. And he is gone. Unbelievable. He was able to get himself into that secondary. And this Eagle offense is loaded with athletes. That was unbelievable.
That's an incredible play. It's just, he ducked and dodged a little bit and turned up the speed and just outran everybody. Incredible play by Rastigan.
That did not look like a quarterback running with the football. That is unbelievable.
You can hear the Eisenhower fight song, clear as day over here in the press box.
Yep.
Eisenhower faithful filling up just about all the stands on the far side.
Travel well. They brought the pep band with them. And we're going to have to redo this PAT try.
The offsides on the defense.
As we mentioned that Eisenhower lost to Brother Rice in week 1. Their only other loss was to Chippewa Valley on the road, 34-19. Perennial power that is Eisenhower football. Made the playoffs 19 of the last 20 seasons. Their only miss was back in 2013. That year they went 5-4.
And I think that 0-7 loss says a lot about this Eisenhower team, specifically the defense.
That kick no good.
As Brother Rice is continually a power in the Catholic League. See them, Detroit Catholic Central.
Yep, De La Salle won the Division II state championship last year. Eisenhower losing last season 34-7 in the first round of the playoffs to Chippewa Valley. Ended up finishing 6-4 a season ago. Eisenhower leads the all-time series against LCN. 9 victories to 1. Last LCN win was back in 2014, a 17-16 win for the Crusaders.
I believe Coach Sean Koski would have been at the helm at quarterback at that time.
Yeah, that was back when LCN was in the red. Anchor Bay, a team that's finding out how difficult it is to play out of the MAC red. They have yet to win a game in league play. And they are still winless on the season as well, 0-5. Take a lot of things into account, obviously, enrollment. You got to talk about travel as well, and that's probably why you haven't seen Grosse Pointe South make that move up to the MAC red. But they are just going crazy in MAC white play. They have yet to give up a point in league play, Grosse Pointe South.
Yeah, that's an incredible team, and they do it, as you mentioned, year in and year out.
And through 5 games, their defense has given up only 34 total points. That's 7 points per game. Somehow they have a loss in there as well in a non-conference game.
Looks like that's the overall in the MAC of all division, that's the least amount of points given up by any team.
Zemansky back to work, in and out of the hands. The ball just a little high. Was looking to connect with Xavion Smith. Really, I think if you're an LCN fan, I think you can still take a lot of positives out of tonight's ball game. Obviously, you're going to fall victim here to a really good Eisenhower Eagle team, but I thought in that first half of play, they really hung tough. I think they did some things really well on their first couple drives offensively.
And they still appear to be out here competing. None of these guys have given up.
Another drop by the wide receiver. This time was Jeremiah Williams-Stewart. And I think that was really kind of Coach Daly's message to us, is he just kind of wanted his guys to dig in deep and challenge this Eisenhower team. And he talked about character and kind of, these guys learning a lot about themselves and how much they wanted it. And that, can-do attitude, that never die attack. And
And that's the approach you have to take, because you're going to have to play these teams every year, you know, between Chippewa Valley, Romeo, Dakota, Eisenhower, or even if you draw on the bottom half of Stevenson or Anchor Bay, that's still a very competitive team when you drop them down to the white, and you're going to have to go to work.
Yeah, it's been a tough draw lately, I think, for LCN in terms of who they've had to play in their crossover games. Last 2 years, obviously, Ike and Dakota. Last 3 years.
Looks like
6 years total, they've played Dakota and Eisenhower as their crossover games.
Eisenhower showing you they're not going to give up, still sending the house on a punt.
And they also had Nadolski deep. So we'll see if Rastigue comes out, the quarterback here, and with a 30-point lead and 9:48 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Maybe one of the
interesting decision here.
And maybe one of the deepest rosters in the MAC.
Well, when you have a school population close to 2,700, you're pulling out of a large class. Looks like Rastigue's night is in fact over. High snap. Brought down, handoff, Sefcovic. Dragged down as he had his jersey pulled down from behind. Ronnie O'Neill, the new quarterback, in for the Eagles.
Probably going to be a run-heavy offense for the Eagles. They've shown you they can really run the ball and grind out the clock, and that's where it's beneficial to have a strong running game. And you know, a lot of the stuff coming into this season was question marks at running backs at this Eisenhower team, and I've been very impressed by the athletes they have, the way the offensive line works, and especially the coaching and the play calling is very balanced offense, but they do get creative at times.
They have scored points on every single one of their offensive possessions. 5 touchdowns and a field goal to go along with a punt return touchdown. And they have hardly even dropped a pass. Off the top of my head, I can't even think of an incomplete, besides some of the deep balls that Rastigue threw. Rastigue went for a couple home run balls back in the first half of play, but really just solid offensive production here tonight. Jack Whitwer with the reception into LCN territory. Clock continues to tick down, under 8:20 now remaining.
And depending on how the districts draw this year and how they get set up, this is an Eisenhower team, in my opinion, second to Dakota in the division right now. You don't want to play them.
No, you kind of think maybe this is an Ike team that's really kind of maybe hit their stride.
I think it's fair to say they have probably the most dynamic athletes in the MAC.
Neal finally sidesteps a tackle and heads out of bounds. And that really will be an interesting matchup in a couple weeks against Dakota. And that will be played at Dakota. So they'll have to go on the road. And really, when you take a look at Ike's schedule, their 2 toughest games against Chippewa Valley and Dakota were both on the road this year. Neal fires one through the hands of his intended wide receiver.
Interesting they decide to go to the air there, but with the loaded schedule Eisenhower plays, it's not too often you get a chance for the second stringers to come in and play a little football. So I'm going to try to get everyone in the mix. Especially with the younger classes, when you have juniors or even if there's sophomores on the squad, little learning lesson.
So we talked about Ike has that game with Anchor Bay in a league game against Dakota before finishing the regular season with a Utica Ford team that's playing pretty well in the MAC White as well. Neal moves to chains, picks up the first down on the QB keeper. So the Eagles looking to keep that perfect production intact on the offensive side of the football. For LCN under first year head coach, he'll be back to the drawing board, and a program that hasn't made the playoffs since 2016. And you really thought they were going to get the job done last year. They opened up with a 4-1 record before finally losing their final 4 games of the year. And we got a fumble picked up off the turf, off to the races. Going to take that one in for the touchdown, Thomas Monty. Defensive scoop and score.
Just a mistake on the back end, put that ball on the turf. Good job by Monty, though, to be on top of it, have the whereabouts, was a step or two ahead of anybody else, and won the foot race back to the end zone, and Crusaders put a couple more points on the board. Well, I think that speaks to the kind of mentality Coach Daly brings to this Crusaders offense. Never get up, get down in the trenches, get dirty, work hard, play football. You're down big in the fourth quarter, but it's homecoming. You still want to make sure you're out there working hard.
So LCN now will go for 2. Zemansky met right at the goal line. Did he sneak it across? The referees will say, in fact, he did. So the 2-point conversion is good, and Zemansky comes up kind of hobbling.
That's not what you want to happen. Let's have your starting quarterback come off limping, especially with all the injuries that they're not going to have to be nursing.
So the score now 44-22. We talked about that big matchup between Dakota and Eisenhower that is looming, and Adam Ewan, Jason Burnt will be on the call for that one. Should be a good one.
That should be a very good game, and by the looks of it, we're playing for second place in the MAC Red, so.
More than likely, we will also be bringing you another LCN telecast here, Macomb Township Government Access, their final game of the season against Dakota, weather permitting in that one, because you just never know what you're going to get in late October. If you've missed any portion of this game, you can check us out online, macomb-mi.gov. Click on the broadcast media portion of the website. It'll take you on over to our YouTube page, where you can also subscribe and get notifications when all of our sporting events are available on our YouTube page. So LCN's going to try a little squib kick and fielded, and it's falling down there.
Got whistles everywhere.
Ethan Barker.
Looks like we got offsides on the Crusaders. It's kind of a halfway between an onside and a squib kick.
If you're going to kick it like that, you got to kick it a lot higher and allow some of your gunners to make that tackle. Can't allow the up back to just kind of camp under it and make that catch. So we'll see if their approach here is they got to back these guys up. They're all in front of the football right now. There you go.
It's a little intimidation factor.
Get it right this time. The kick's a little bit better, and calling for a fair catch and colliding with the receiver. You can't do that. That's a nice try, but taking out that guy's not.
How about the heads-up play by Eisenhower to call the fair catch on something like that and catch LCN not paying attention? You know, if you're LCN, you're not expecting that fair catch, but that was a much better kick. That's better executed on that end, but when they call a fair catch, there's nothing you can do.
So 6:27 remaining, fourth quarter of play here on LCN's homecoming night. You mentioned kind of the way the district's been formed the last couple years.
Uh-oh.
Sefcovic. Eisenhower opened with Chippewa Valley last season. And were able to roll off a couple wins 2 seasons ago against Utica and Rochester Adams. Actually opened up with LCN back in 2016 in the pre-district game before rolling over Dakota and Southfield. That was the year Eisenhower made it to the semifinal game. So Eisenhower's always kind of that wild card in the playoffs because they can always kind of get sent every which way.
Certainly a team that would love to raise a banner, especially now that Dakota's done it. Chippewa Valley has now done it. And you've been there.
Well, they've been there all right. Getting into the backfield, making some noise. First pursuer in was Avery.
They were caught in the middle of that. Detroit Catholic Central back-to-back-to-back 2001 through 2003. They bookended with losses 24-21 and then 24-16. 2000 they lost to Grand Ledge in the finals 19-14. And 99 they lost to Walled Lake Western 19-7. So just a lot of heartbreak.
Games, huh?
A lot of heartbreak.
Those teams in the late 90s, early 2000s, so and good.
I forgot about that 2015 Romeo team that won the championship as well against Detroit Cass Tech. Scored 41 points at Ford Field.
Mac Red really have held their own. Think about the likes of Clarkston and Cass Tech. They're always there, but it seems like the Mac Red always has somebody in the state semifinals. Tough pitch there. Somehow coming up with it. Sefcovic kept that play alive.
Looks like we got a timeout by the Crusaders.
Clarkston's gone now into back-to-back state title games. Tech always there as well. A terrific program run out of the Detroit Public Schools. Clarkston's got a pretty good basketball team too.
We talk about predictions and whatnot, and Eisenhower may be playing a little bit higher where people expected them. Detroit News preseason put them at 4th, 6-4. Obviously, a couple big games left for them to kind of ride out that schedule.
We went 6-4 a season ago.
That Dakota one's going to be a fun one.
block sack. So the LCN defense sticking with it. Logan Simmons with the sack. So be a turnover on downs for Eisenhower.
First non-scoring drive, I believe.
Yeah, they fumbled the previous drive, so back-to-back non-scoring drives. Zamansky back out there for LCN. Team trailing by 22 points. 4 minutes to go. That pass is intercepted. Really a nice grab by Zalkowski. Daniel Zalkowski coming up with the interception. And so the teams trade turnovers.
Great read over the middle. Was able to jump that route a little bit. It was a little fade route by William Stewart right over the middle and jumped ahead of it. And good interception by the Eisenhower defense.
First LCN turnover of the game.
I'd like to talk to Coach Smith about how the defense has been playing today, because 22 points. Haven't given that up except to Chippewa Valley.
Yep.
Second in the MAC in points
big
allowed.
collision down there. Jacob Levy applying the hit for LCN.
Certainly, maybe L'Anse Creuse North has exposed a few things about this defense. You know, talking to Coach Smith before the game, we mentioned the defense. He goes, "Yeah, that our defense is awesome." He didn't, not those words, but that's pretty much what it was. Is there's no concern there. They do their thing. They're gonna do their job. They always do their job. So
Yeah,
giving up 22 to L'Anse Creuse North.
It's a unit that's giving up 13 points per game. So LCN has exceeded that season average here tonight. And give LCN credit. I think they've looked good offensively. They just weren't able to come up with any stops in that first half, and going down 28-7 at halftime. I think a touchdown right before the break was an absolute backbreaker.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple plays you can look at where it's like this really changed the flow of the game. I don't think the score does this game justice. It was much better fought than a 22-point lead late. But some miscues on special teams. The penalties for sure hurt them on a couple different plays as well.
Yeah, we talked about it when it happened, coming out and converting on that second down and short and having the play brought back because of a holding penalty.
And
that was the absolute backbreaker, and then they punted the ball away and gave up more points.
And their special teams absolutely needs work. You know, you give up that touchdown on the punt, you punt the one back that they returned down to the 8-yard line, and you gave up a couple kickoff returns over midfield.
Yeah, Eisenhower really has flipped the field tonight with their special teams. There's no doubt about it. They've had short fields seemingly all night long, including that play where they were able to get it inside the 10-yard line. They started out on the LCN 8-yard line, and you just can't do that when you have a team like Eisenhower.
Yeah, you got to win the game of field position. You got to win time of possession. Those are the two biggest things to me for L'Anse Creuse North to control it in. You want to pin them deep, make them work hard for it. When it's as simple, it kind of made it simple.
So Eisenhower jumped out to that early 7-0 lead. LCN was forced to punt, and Mike took it to the house, and just like that, it was 14-0, and they have yet to look back. And there's the pitch on the option play, and look out, looking for the edge. Number 20, Nick Sefcovic.
We have another flag coming from that far sideline.
This fourth quarter really has gotten sloppy. Backup unit on offense for Eisenhower. Looks like we have a block in the back. It will be, in fact, the call. Block in the back against the Eagles. 2:44 left to go in the fourth quarter. 44-22. Eisenhower out in front. 44 points that they put up on the big board here tonight has matched their season high. And that was in week 2 against Warren Cousino. Sefcovic again. Cousino, a Mac Blue school. Three really tough games still loom for LCN. Game next week on the road against Mac White, favorite, Grosse Pointe South. And then back-to-back road games as they have to go to Utica before finishing at home against Mac Red opponent Dakota. Sefcovic trips.
You obviously don't want to call games before they happen, but you know, it's really looking like a hard push to get to that 6-win mark for a guaranteed playoff spot. Where on the opposite, Eisenhower, you're picking up your 4th, and you know you're comfortable against Anchor Bay, and then
gonna have to split the final 2 against either Dakota or Ford.
Ford's been a solid team in the Mac White. And Dakota's going to be a tough matchup, but that's a winnable game as well.
Sure. Well,
so they could. That's a potentially a schedule where you win out.
Boy, if they win out, that will be 6 wins in a row, and at that point, you got to say, well, they might be one of the more dangerous teams in the playoffs.
And that's a tough loss at the top to Brother Rice, 7-0. It sets the tone on the season, you know. Any coach will say it. You want to play that tough game the first game, and if you get punched in the mouth, you get punched in the mouth. It's an out-of-division game. You got to get to 6, and you're going to have to take care of your business either way.
A little bit of a broken play here.
It's a good start to your season when Brother Rice is going to be one of the top programs in the state this season. And it really shows you what you need to work on. When you go back to practice on Monday, you know what you're working on because you watched it in the game. You know, we were this close to beating a top team and just didn't quite get there. So let's work on the things to get there.
LCN sticking with all their starters here on the offensive side of things. Zemansky pitch and catch. Completion to Mateo Alfred. Out to the 40. 2nd down and 4. Zemansky brings the high snap down. Rolls out to his right. Floats one downfield. Was looking for Petrucci there.
Tough throw by Szymanski, and on the run, throwing across his body. That's an impressive throw. Wasn't quite on the money, but to be able to get that ball out there. Szymanski's really shown some flair, some positive attributes, and shows why he's the senior leader at the quarterback position.
Line to gains of 44. Exactly 1 minute remaining in the 4th quarter. Finds one of his favorite targets, Xavion Smith. Far side of the football field to the 15, the 10, reaching out, unable to grab him. And it's going to be Xavion Smith who crosses over the goal line, reaching out and scoring 6.
There you see some individual effort by Xavion Smith to catch that ball over the middle, and he got a caravan of blockers out in front of him, slowed down a little bit, and able to secure his way to the end zone. Kind of a
more than likely they'll go for 2 to try to turn this into a 14-point deficit, a 2-touchdown score. 46 seconds remaining. So you get the 2-point conversion here. You're down 2 touchdowns. Going to have to recover an onside kick. Ran a little bit of a QB keeper last time on the 2-point conversion, and this time they'll fling one in to Xavier Smith for 2. So now LCN 2 for 2 on 2-point conversions.
Did kind of look like a fling, flat-footed throw from Szymanski, a little sidearm action.
Tim Tebow used to do that quite a bit in the University of Florida.
Darted it right in there.
Well, they got bit a couple times on their last onside kick attempt. Got hit for a penalty. Kind of lined up wrong the second time, and then had some kick catch interference. So you would assume the strategy is going to be a little bit different here on this onside kick. Down 14 points, 44-30, and you just continue to pull positives out of this game if you're LCN. So you've now hung up 30 on a good Eisenhower defense.
Yeah, very good Eisenhower defense, something that they always go to. And like you said, there's always positives in a game. There's obvious things they got to work on defensively, but offensive side of the ball, you can make some noise the rest of the season.
So it'll be Carter Tim to attempt this onside kick. 46 seconds remaining. And he keeps this one on the carpet. We got another flag, as that one's going to end up out of bounds, but somebody was offside again. It's going to be an illegal procedure penalty, and the whistle happened before the kick, so even if you're Eisenhower, you can't decline this penalty. They whistled the play dead before it even happened. You know, so I have to redo this kick.
I think the biggest thing that's going to have to be to go back with the coaching staff and really adjust is this special teams play. It's just, these aren't the kind of mistakes you want to make. That's 2 procedure penalties. You're struggling to get an onside kickoff. You ran the guy over on a fair catch.
And they finally will back it up to 5 yards.
He'll
I was
do it
wondering
himself.
when that was going to happen.
This is the first time I've seen a player move the ball back himself.
And it will not be Carter Tim this time to kick it. And they're going to go straight onside kick this time, and it's recovered by Nadolski. Steven Nadolski will put the finishing touches on this game, and you would assume Eisenhower will more than likely take a knee to end this. Well-played game by the Eisenhower Eagles tonight.
You do see some upset players, as expected, on the Crusader sideline. A couple helmet throws and whatnot, but
yeah, they kind of got beat up tonight too. They're gonna maybe be down a few players next week, and hopefully those guys heal up in time for their game. We mentioned Julian Guizdala and David Teen leaving this game here tonight, and fumbling the exchange between quarterback and running back, and
kind of surprised they're even running a play.
More than likely, I think they'll put the playbook away after that exchange. There's no sense in trying to run something here. I mean, that could have been a huge crisis right there if they're able to. If LCN's able to come up on that football, and finally the Eagles will, in fact, go into their victory formation and kneel down, and that will be the final play. So, Adam, your thoughts here, your final thoughts. 44-30, the final score. The Eagles come away victors here tonight.
Mentioned it just moments ago. The Crusaders did get roughed up by a bigger and stronger team. But there are takeaways from this game. You got things you can go back to work on, specifically with the defense and special teams, but you're looking pretty good on offense, and you might be able to make some noise the rest of the season.
Our camera operators tonight were James Drum, Jason Burton, Jason Radulski. Adam Abraham was my broadcast partner. I'm Brad Fetter saying goodnight from L'Anse Creuse North High School. Once again, the final score, the Eisenhower Eagles 44, the L'Anse Creuse North Crusaders 30. Thank you so much for watching this Macomb Township Government Access production. We'll see you next time right here on Channel 5.